Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the BASN MTPro, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank BASN Audio for providing the MTPro for review. Do greatly appreciate it. BASN Audio, you rock. Okay, so the BASN MTPro, this is a 14.5mm planar driver IEM, and it will set you back $220 from your bank account. Currently, on the BASN Audio website at the time of this recording, it is on sale for $200. The MTPro has 32 ohms of impedance, 102 decibels of sensitivity, and a frequency response range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Comes in this nice little white box. It says BASN Audio MTPro. 14.5mm planar hi-fi in-ear monitor. And then down here it says metal, unit, and housing. Get some specs. Take that sleeve off. And you're greeted by a black box with some BASN logo branding and a little bit of information of how to contact BASN Audio. Flipping the lid, you are greeted by a piece of paper that says, "Enjoy your music with BASN IEMs." All right, let's flip the lid. And you get a carrying case and your IEMs. And you also get some paperwork. All right, so the carrying case. It's made of metal. Has a little bit of branding on it. Nice locking system here. Flip it up, and you get two big hip pockets up top, one big pocket down below, and some other accessories. So the accessories that you get are a little cleaning tool with a brush on one end. You get a 1/4-inch adapter. You get a bag that has a ton of tips in it. You get small, medium, and large of foam, and then small, medium, and large of single, double, and triple flange tips. And then you also get a tool to help you remove your MMCX cable and a little clip. Speaking of the cables, you do get two cables. You get this cable, which has an inline microphone and remote. I did not use this cable. It's well built though. And then you get your MTPro and your second cable. So they connect with MMCX as mentioned. Cable's nice. It has good ear hooks, nice tension. Not too much, not too little. Goes to a metal split with a cinch that actually works. And then it terminates to a 3.5. The shells of the MTPro, you can get them in various colors. They are slightly heavy, not the lightest IEM out there, but they're not the heaviest. I found them to be okay when it came to weight in the ear. You have a flat back, fairly aggressive angle, and a decent length on nozzle. Not the longest nozzle, but enough for some insertion that'll hold things in place. Speaking of holding them in place, so the tips. You notice I have foam tips on. I had used the foam tips because that was the only tip that really helped keep it in my ear without falling out. I had some issues with the silicone tips. I just couldn't get a good enough seal. Either the tips were too big or too large or too small. I just didn't have a proper fit with any of the silicone tips. So I had to go with the stock foam tips. I found that they're fairly comfortable to wear. I can wear them for about an hour before I have to take a break with them. They go into ears, they snug in nicely. They're fairly small. They are a little bit heavy and they do pull down just a little bit. Isolation of outside noises is pretty good. I'm guessing somewhere about 60 to 65% of outside noises. You're still going to be able to hear some things around the house and the office and out in the neighborhood, but it does a sufficient job of blocking it out for the most part. Using them in louder environments, they probably wouldn't do so well. No, using foam tips would do a little bit better. So overall, I find the build of them to be nice with the metal casing and shell, and the design of them is okay. Not the most comfortable, but they're not uncomfortable. They're not the worst things I've ever worn. Slightly on the heavy side. They're fairly easy to drive. Fairly. They do scale with better sources, and they like a little bit of power. I found that some dongles just weren't able to power them. Using them with a dongle that is balanced was better. I found that you got better performance with it. Switching over to a DAP, they worked better, especially using the unbalanced output. But where I really enjoyed them on was desktop. I found that desktop was able to drive them a little bit better and had a little bit more of a presence to the overall sound. It just kind of brought things out a little bit better. So they do benefit from some power. Now they are a little bit source picky. Using them on a really warm source will bog these down. They will sound bloated and overly just thick and slow. So you be careful using sources. If your source is very warm sounding, MTPro probably won't do very well on it. Before we get into the sonic impressions of the MTPro, I would like to thank my supporters through Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thank you very much for all that you provide to the channel. It's much appreciated. I know that times aren't easy financially in the world these days, and so all the sacrifices that you make out of your personal funds to give to a channel, help it grow and support it, is much appreciated. So thank you very much to all my patrons and YouTube memberships. If you are interested in supporting the channel, please check out the links down below. There's all kinds of ways that you can support the channel, monthly and one-time gifts with PayPal and Venmo. All funds provided to the channel do go back into the channel. Gear to review, gear to compare with, gear to produce the videos with, and also music to listen to and coffee and other choice beverages to drink while listening to the music are purchased with these funds. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, it would be much appreciated. While you're down there checking on those links, don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you'll know when the next video from the Honest Audiophile is uploaded. Okay, so how do the BASN MTPros sound? They have a sound that is far cry from being neutral, but yet it is a very fun sound. The bass is, what's the word? Huge. It has a ton of bass. Now, it's not the most sub-bass present, believe it or not. The bass is more prominent in the mid-bass and upper bass. Now, there is sub-bass presence. It does roll off just a little bit when compared to the mid-bass and upper bass, but it is still elevated. You get a lot of rumble. You get a lot of grumble. You get a lot of impact. I mean, a lot of impact. It's hard-hitting, lots of slam, lots of punch, and a lot of just urge. It'll drive. When you talk about driving music home, the bass of the MTPro will do that. It is a hard-hitting, thumpy, impactful IEM. It's a fun sounding bass. This bass will bring out the best of air drummers. This will bring out your inner head banging. This will be bobbing and weaving all over the place to your music. You will want to get up and move. The MTPro drives it home. In the mid bass and the upper bass especially. Is it the most technical? No, not really. The bass is, you get enough details and you get enough resolution, but it's not the best available out there, especially at its price point. Tonality wise is fine. It's not the most natural sounding, but it's also not off-putting. It's just a very fun sounding bass that's engaging and just flat out a blast to listen to when you get the right song. The mids. Now the mids get a lot of bleed from the upper bass. It really bleeds in. And it adds this fullness and this warmth to the overall sound of the lower mids. The main mids are recessed and they're a little bit dipped and they're behind the lower mids and upper bass. And then the upper mids are elevated slightly. And so it just kind of makes the mids a little bit uneven, a little bit unbalanced, and a little uncohesive at times. Instruments and vocals can sound a little odd on some tracks, and they'll sound uneven, a little bit thin, a little bit sheeny, a little bit tinny at times. And other times you're like, wow, that sounds really good. It just kind of depends on the type of music that you're listening to and how it was mastered. And it just kind of pops up randomly, those issues. But overall, the mids are pleasant. There's enough details there and enough resolution to keep things going. And the tonality, just like the bass, isn't the most natural, but it's not off-putting. It's just kind of a fun listen. Very warm sounding, and it just kind of flows. And then you get that randomness of, oh, skip, move on to the next song. Treble. The treble is extended, and it has a little bit of presence in the lower treble regions, and then the upper treble region is a little bit peaky, and you can get some hotness and a little bit of spiciness up top every now and then. And just like the mids, it just randomly appears, and it'll just be, ooh, didn't realize that song was quite that way. And then other songs sound fine. So it's a little bit on the peaky side and a little uneven, but that adds to the fun factor of the MTPro. Now I find that the treble has a niceness to it, and it, for the most part, fairly controlled, except for those random moments. And overall, the tonality, like the mids and like the bass, isn't the most natural, but it's not off-putting. It's just kind of engaging. And the detail retrieval and the resolution, like the mids and the bass, are doing enough. So overall, I like the sound of the MTPro. Should I? Not really. It really doesn't meet anything of my expectations of an IEM and of a headphone. You know, it's like, this isn't natural. This isn't accurate, but it's fun. And there's just something about the MTPro that grabs you and just makes you want to listen to it. It's just a fun listen. It's just something different. Soundstage. The soundstage of the MTPro isn't exactly the widest. Now, it's not narrow, it's not intimate, but it's not going to wow you in its vastness. It's just kind of there. Things kind of just tail off and don't really disappear. You know, they don't dissipate out properly. They don't have a lot of room to go, and they just kind of hit a wall. But overall, the width is okay. It keeps things open enough. And then the depth. It's not the deepest soundstage, but it doesn't sound claustrophobic. You can read into the stage, just like the width of it isn't the widest, the depth isn't the deepest, but yet it's not compacted and compressed and muddled. I just wish I had a little bit more. And then in regards to the imaging is okay. It travels across the stage, but it's not the most precise and accurate. You can't really hone in and pinpoint where things are. It's more like it's over in this neighborhood. It's over here. That's behind that. Those are playing together, you know. They layer okay, but they're not the most specific and pinpoint accurate. So the MTPro, it's not a technicalities specialist. But what it is a very fun sound. The MTPro is not neutral. It's a far cry from being neutral or natural. But it is a very fun sounding, very engaging, and just pleasing and different sounding IEM. How does it compare to some other IEMs, especially one that's in its price point, which is the 7Hz Timeless. Now, the 7Hz Timeless has the same price point of $220, and it has better extension into the sub bass. It has better control throughout. It has a more natural tone and timbre, and it is better with the mids presentation. They're more even, balanced, and cohesive. And it has better detail retrieval and resolution, and it has a wider stage, deeper, and better layered. Overall, I would take the 7Hz Timeless over the MTPro. And then an IEM that is going at $100 is the 𝗠𝗵𝗲𝗃 P1 Max. And the 𝗠𝗵𝗃 P1 Max is neutral. It has more natural tone and timbre. It has better control throughout. It has better extension throughout. And it has better detail retrieval and resolution, more accurate wide stage depth and layering. Overall, the P1 Max is better than the MTPro. But there's just something about the MTPro that makes you want to listen to it. It's just got this uniqueness to it that's just different. And so if you're looking for an IEM that has a different sound to it than any other planar out there, and that really plays well with dance, EDM, electronic, metal, hard rock type of music, give the MTPro from BASN a listen. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and check out the links down below. There's all kinds of information on there regarding how you can contact channel, follow channel, support channel. All that kind of stuff is down below, including music recommendations, gear recommendations, ranking lists, and all kinds of other things down below, along with all kinds of other ways that you can contact channel, follow channel, support channel, all that kind of stuff. Don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.